the tablet PC, the 2-in-1 PC, slate PC, convertible PC, laptop tablet, laplet? So many confusing names for just one type of product, but no matter what its name is, let's see what the HP Elite X2 1012 is all about. This is the HP Elite X2 1012 G1 tablet. Let's go over the exterior. It's got a 12-inch UWVA screen with a resolution of 1920 by 1280 covered in Corning Gorilla Glass 4. On the front side, we have a glossy black border, an HP logo, a webcam, and a Bang & Olufsen logo. On the back, there's another camera, a fingerprint reader, another HP logo, and a stainless steel kickstand that allows for 150 degrees of adjustment for viewing angles. On the left-hand side, we have the power button, volume rocker, SIM tray on some models, Kensington lock, and the lanyard hole for your included stylus. On the top, we have the speakers from Bang & Olufsen and mics. On the right-hand side, there's a headset port, a USB 3.0 port, a micro SD card slot, and the USB Type-C port used for both data and charging. And finally, on the bottom, we have the keyboard dock connector. Speaking of which, the travel keyboard is included with all models of the Elite X2 and is not an optional accessory that you need to buy. Good job, HP. Microsoft could learn a thing or two. Anyways, back to the keyboard. It's a chiclet style keyboard that is backlit, and the trackpad supports multi-touch gestures. It attaches to the bottom of the Elite like so and allows for 2 typing angles depending on how it's attached. Now, the Elite itself weighs only 1.8 pounds, and with the travel keyboard attached, the total weight is 2.65 pounds. And finally, the HP Elite comes with a full-size Wacom Pen and Digitizer that pairs with the unit quite easily. On to the juicier bits of the Elite X2. The model that we have here today has an Intel Core M76Y75 dual-core CPU clocked at 1.2 GHz with Intel HD Graphics 515, 8 GB of RAM, a 256 GB Samsung NVMe SSD, and Windows 10 Pro. How about the user experience, Jack? Well, I hear ya. Now, I used the Elite X2 for close to a week doing all my daily things like writing scripts, sending emails, and of course, consuming media. At 75% screen brightness, I found that the Elite X2 lasting at least 5 hours with constant use. Of course, this will vary depending on your settings. The speakers do sound okay, but I wish they were front-facing instead of mounted up on the top. I ended up cutting up some paper cups to redirect the sound towards me, which didn't really work out too well, but whatever, I'm over it. Typing on the keyboard was interesting. It's got a bit more flex in it than I'm used to for chiclet laptop keyboards, but that's to be expected since it's meant to be a lightweight travel keyboard. I did fiddle around with Photoshop while using the stylus. Now, for those of you who might not know, I am left-handed, and I must say that being able to use my dominant hand for drawing with a stylus is way better than using a mouse to draw with my right hand. But scaling on Windows 10 isn't the best for Photoshop, as the workspace feels more cramped than when compared to using Photoshop on desktop. So we've covered the Elite in everyday situations, in creative situations, but how about gaming situations? Now keep in mind that this Elite X2 is not in any way touted as a gaming 2-in-1. Having said that, I tried booting up Rocket League. Now Rocket League isn't the most demanding game out there, but I still experienced quite a bit of stuttering. It made it seem like the car was just lurching forward, like someone just learning how to drive manual. Just someone's gonna make a gif out of that, I know it. I then tried the demo version of Minecraft and it worked fine. You guys always seem to ask, so there you go. But I did run some other benchmarks. In Cinebench, the Elite scored 36.85 frames per second in OpenGL, which happens to fall somewhere between the GT620 and GT650 from NVIDIA. For the CPU portion of Cinebench, the Elite scored 260 CB, which is just barely out of reach of the Intel Core i5-3317U. I also ran benchmarks for the SSD as well. Is my hard drive okay? Sequential reads were 1,570 megabytes per second, and sequential writes were 1,242 megabytes per second. In Crystal Disk Mark, sequential reads were 1,655 megabytes per second, and sequential writes were 1,279 megabytes per second. So you can see that the included SSD is no slouch. And then there were the little quirks of the Elite X2 that I thought people should be aware of. If you happen to have a metal desk, because of the travel keyboard, you might have an interesting time lifting the keyboard cover back up. I mean, it's rare for someone to have a metal desk, but yeah, one of the few rare moments where the magic of magnetism doesn't work in your favor. We recently moved to a new studio and my desk is all metal, so I experienced that. And the other thing you want to make note of is the positioning of the USB Type-C port. And what I mean by that is that the port is a bit too close in proximity to the other USB-A port. So if you have a USB device plugged in at the same time it's charging, you will be putting unnecessary stress on the connectors. And some of you are saying, Jack, you're so stupid, just flip the connector 180 degrees and you're golden. To which I say, yes, dear viewer, that's what I thought. But then you realize that the charging indicator LED gets covered by the charging connector if you flip it the other way around. Plus, if you ever needed access to the micro SD card slot, you'll just have to live with the indicator being covered anyways. I mean, it's a small price to pay, but if you jiggle the power connector a little bit, you are still able to see the charging light. But what I'm saying is, you shouldn't have to do that to see it. Just, yeah. So that's it for my overview of the Elite X2 1012 from HP. It's a great lightweight 2-in-1 with a snappy SSD, ideal for the working professional on the go. And it comes standard with a backlit keyboard and stylus, something that's a bit harder to find in competing products. Now, if you're interested in the HP Elite X2 1012, you can click here or the link in the description for more info on availability and pricing. But you can click here for previous videos and check us out on Twitter right over here. But as always, like the video, comment for fans of benefits, and subscribe for more videos like this from NCIX. We'll see you later.